What if, in a couple of years, most of the decisions and actions in our digital world aren't made by people, but by AI agents working quietly in the background? It sounds futuristic, I know, but that's the direction we're headed. And right at the heart of this new world is a project aiming to become the backbone for all those AI agents. A project called A.V.M, the Agent Virtual Machine. Today, I want to break down exactly what A.V.M is, why it matters, how it works, and what makes it such a fascinating piece of tech. This isn't just an endorsement or a hype session. It's not a show. Think of it as a deep dive, a review and a learning journey we're taking together since we know AI is the future. So, whether you're just starting in crypto, you're curious about AI, or you're already deep in the rabbit hole, I promise you'll come away from today's show with a clearer understanding of where the agent economy in AI is headed and why A.V.M could play such a pivotal role. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Happy Thursday. And let's get started. We'll start with the basics. What is A.V.M? In the simplest possible term. Then we'll talk about the real problem it's trying to solve and why this matters now. We'll dig into how A.V.M actually works in a language anyone can follow. We'll go through the project's tokenomics, which I love so much, who's building it, and what risks you and I should be aware of. We'll compare A.V.M to the other comparable projects and solutions, both in crypto and in the traditional world, and we'll give you a sense of how big this market could get. Finally, I'll show you some real-world examples that make this all click. And we'll wrap up with a few key takeaways and the most important things to keep in mind as you search projects like this. So as I said a moment ago, let's start with a fundamental question. What is A.V.M? I want you to picture a giant arcade. You know, the claw machine that's like trying to pick up toys, and each stuffed toy inside this glass box represents a piece of data, a task, a piece of information your AI might want to grab, such as prices, news, analytics, anything of that sort. The claw itself is the AI agent. It's the brain, the decision maker, the bit of code trying to pick up the right toy or piece of information or data. But for the claw to actually work, you need the whole machine. You need the hardware, the controls, the backend that makes sure everything operates safely and fairly. That's what A.V.M is. It's the secure, decentralized claw machine engine for AI agents. In technical terms, A.V.M is a blockchain native compute layer built for AI agents to run code on demand. And in plain English, let's simplify this a bit more, it's a way for smart AI agents. Think GPT-4, Claude, or any other language model that can call tools to interact with the real world. They can fetch data, as I was saying, analyze it, and even trigger actions, all without relying on a central computer's cloud server. Here's where it gets even cooler. Developers don't have to worry about running their own servers or managing complicated backend systems. A.V.M provides a standard interface, so the agent can simply send code, and A.V.M runs it in a secure, isolated sandbox. If you've ever heard of the term sandbox, think of it as a walled-off playground where code can run safely without breaking anything or escaping into the wild. So why does this matter now? The problem A.V.M solves is this. But first, let's zoom out. Why do we need something like A.V.M, you might ask? The world of AI agents is exploding right now. Every major business, every startup, even solo developers want to automate tasks, gather data, and make smart decisions faster and cheaper. But here's the problem. Almost all of today's AI compute is centralized. This means it's controlled by a handful of big tech companies like OpenAI, Google, AWS. They decide who gets access. They set the rules. They can censor or restrict users. And prices are set by a monopoly. This is why DeepSeek was such a major deterrent and like asteroid to the AI tech, magnificent tech stocks, because it really showed the world and all investors that you could do it for so much cheaper. Anyway, back to what we're talking about now. So on top of all of this, if one region goes down or gets cut off, the whole system can break, because it's, as they say, you are as strong as your weakest link. And that is what's so powerful about decentralization. When protocols are designed correctly and beautifully and thoughtfully, it saves the whole network, and it saves everyone who's involved and all the money involved, because there isn't one point of failure. Anyway, let's keep going. A.V.M. flips this centralized narrative on its head. It aims to become a permissionless, decentralized network where anyone, anywhere can contribute computing power and earn tokens for running jobs. So instead of one company owning all the machines in the arcade, anyone can set up a new claw machine, okay? Remember that little toy claw machine? It's as if anyone can set one up and get rewarded when people use it. This is what decentralized compute really means. It means there's no one point of failure, no censorship risk, no monopolistic pricing. And because it's built with blockchain tech, everything is auditable, transparent, and run by code instead of contracts or people. The timing here is perfect. Large language models like GPT-4 and Claude are everywhere. More companies are building agents to automate business workflows, customer service, data analytics, and more. But they all hit the same wall. Who runs the backend? A.V.M. says, let the network do it, using crypto incentives to align everyone's interests, which once again is what is so beautiful of decentralized blockchain models. So how does A.V.M. actually work though? Let's break it down simply. Imagine you've built an AI agent, a piece of software that needs to fetch real-time data, analyze it, maybe even make a trade or complete a task. Instead of setting up your own server or trusting some big company's cloud to do it for you, you connect your agent to A.V.M.'s API, which stands for Application Programming Interface, which is basically a simple set of instructions that lets different programs talk to each other. The agent sends a code snippet, which is a short set of instructions, to A.V.M. And A.V.M. then turns around and executes it in a specialized sandbox environment, which, remember, once again, a sandbox is like a safe playpen for children, you know, where you put children in a little contained area, you know, so they can't damage things. Same thing like that, but for computer code. And this is made possible thanks to something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. If that sounds too complicated, don't worry. All it means is that A.V.M. provides a universal translator, so any smart agent from any company can plug in and use its compute resources. It's the same way USB lets you plug different devices into your laptop, and they just work. And because every job is run in its own secure sandbox, if a piece of code goes rogue, right, goes crazy, or makes a mistake, it can't harm the rest of the system. And developers love this because it means zero dev op, that's what they call it. And this is just dev language, or a fancy way of saying they don't have to worry about running servers, scaling up, scaling down, or keeping things online. A.V.M. handles all the messy backend work. They just hit an API, send the code, and get the results, like a dream come true. A quick example of this is just, for instance, imagine a trading agent that wants to check prices, right, like we all do, on multiple exchanges, run some quick analysis, and place a trade. Instead of building a complicated backend, program, the agent simply sends its Python code to A.V.M., which then goes and fetches the data, does the math, and returns the answer. So all the heavy lifting is handled by the A.V.M. Isn't that amazing? And the developer is free to focus on building smarter agents, on the visionary stuff, which once again, I believe is a true power AI brings all of us, is not in replacing us, but in doing everything that we do now so we can move on to envisioning new possibilities. Anyway, enough of that. So now let's get into why it's unique and what sets AVM apart. There are a few key benefits here. First, it works with any MCP compatible model out of the box. So OpenAI, Anthropic, and other LLMs can plug right in. Secondly, there's no DevOps overhead. So you don't have to be a server expert, for instance. You just call an API or use the SDK, which stands for Software Development Kit, which is a ready-made set of tools that help you build and connect your software. And then you're live. Third, every job runs in a sandbox container. So if something goes wrong, as I've been saying, it's contained. AVM returns detailed execution logs so you can see exactly what happened and audit any job anytime. It's pay per run, so you only pay for what you actually use. There are no subscriptions, no lock-ins, no upfront costs. And you can top up with fiat or crypto, which to me is always like the golden rule. You can't make it too difficult for people. And what's even more interesting is the long-term vision. AVM doesn't just want to be a company. Their goal is to build a decentralized community-run compute network where anyone can participate. Developers, node operators, token holders, and everyday users. But now let's shift gears a little bit and let's look at the token and the token economics. Their token is called A.V.M. And this is what powers the whole AVM ecosystem. There's a fixed supply of 100 million AVM tokens, all on Ethereum. The AVM token launched on June 9th. So it's already live and in use within the network. As the AVM platform continues through its beta testing phase, the importance and utility of the token will keep expanding. And here's how it works. Developers and AI agents pay to run code using the token AVM, which creates ongoing demand for the token. Node operators, which are basically just people who contribute compute power, they earn the AVM token for executing jobs. And token holders can stake their coins too and participate in network governance, voting on upgrades and key protocol decisions. Distribution of their tokens is fully transparent as well, which is what I love. 40% of the supply is for initial liquidity to ensure active trading. This is just sweet. 20% is for ecosystem grants and partnerships, right? Ensuring growth. 15% for node incentives, and the rest for the project treasury, right? For the future, and marketing and research and development. At their launch, which we know was on June 9th, there was a 4% trading fee on DEX trades to help fund the project. But this trading fee of 4% will drop to zero when certain funding milestones are reached. And liquidity is going to be locked up for 12 months. Investor tokens will vest quickly though. 30% were unlocked at launch, with the rest unlocking over the following 3 months. So keep your eyes open for that. So AVM should be fully vested around September 9th, but it is very important to be very real and down to earth about the risks. Fast token unlocks can mean more price swings, right? Because think of it, there's a lot of new tokens coming to the market. And the relatively small market cap, because it's just slightly over $11 million right now, makes AVM more volatile. So just keep that in mind. The initial trading fee can also affect short-term trades. And as with any crypto project, price isn't guaranteed to go up. The real value comes if the network grows, adoption increases, and AVM becomes, which I hope it does, the standard currency for AI agent compute. So this is where partnerships come in heavily, right? But anyway, let's move on and talk about who's behind the team. Who's building all of this? The AVM team is a mix of seasoned crypto and AI veterans. Beautiful combination. The project is led by Nick, an entrepreneur with a background in international banking, who held a leadership role at Binance, scaling Web3 initiatives. And the CTO, let me see if I can say this, Stochastic, is a technical lead with deep experience in smart contracts and decentralized infrastructure, active since early DeFi days. So he's been in the space for some time. And supporting them are many project managers, engineers, DevOps specialists, and marketing pros, many of whom have worked in crypto and tech for nearly a decade. And some team members use public aliases, which is very common in crypto because it's all about, staying anonymous, etc. But the founder's pedigree is backed by LinkedIn profiles and ongoing KYC checks. And of course, transparency is a work in progress. But so far, the team has renounced ownership of the token contract, which is a very good sign. And they're in the process of a formal security audit, which is another fantastic checkmark on our due diligence list. So that said, always check the latest information on the website and do your own research before getting involved. But now let's talk about staying balanced. I want us to take a minute and address the risks and challenges, because every new project, especially one this ambitious, comes with some big unknowns. AVM is still at an early stage. The mainnet isn't fully live. And true decentralization, where anyone can run a node and earn rewards, is set for a future phase on the roadmap. So it's not here now, but it's projected. It's part of their plans. But we all also know roadmaps change, right? Because reality hits and then you're confronted with, dev updates, and you're working with real people that are working. So things in actuality can sometimes turn out a little different than what's on the roadmap. That said, security is a very big topic. While all code is run in isolated sandboxes, the token contract has had ownership renounced, as I was saying a moment ago. A full third-party audit hasn't been completed yet. And until that public audit is public, there's always some risk of bugs and vulnerabilities, etc., which hopefully are caught through the audit and then fixed. And then, of course, market risks are also real. With a low market cap, as I was saying a moment ago, the token is highly volatile, especially for the next 3 months as there's token unlocks. And fast vesting means there could be a lot of selling pressure in the first few months. The entire crypto and AI landscape is changing very fast as well. And competition from big tech and other Web3 projects is fierce. Finally, there's regulation to consider, because we know right now there's a lot of regulation regarding both AI and crypto evolving very fast in real time, which means compliance and legal risks could still shift over time. So the key here is education. That's the purpose of this video. None of these risks are deal breakers by themselves, but you should always go deeper, ask questions in the community, ask different AI models, and never put in any more money than you can afford to lose. But now, let's shift gears again and let's put AVM in context. How does it stack up against other solutions and competition out there? Let's start with the big names like AWS, Google Cloud, OpenAI. These are centralized giants. They're fast, powerful, have huge networks, huge customer bases. They're easy, they're integrated with everything, but they come with censorship risk, right? They control everything and we don't know what they're doing with our data. And they often have high, locked in, unpredictable costs. AVM, on the other hand, is decentralized, token incentivized, more censorship resistant, and truly global if it scales up. In the world of crypto, there are decentralized compute platforms like Akash and Render. These are great for generic compute and rendering, but they aren't built specifically for AI agents. AVM's focus is tighter. It wants to be the universal agent virtual machine, where smart agents can directly execute code in a standardized way. Then there are projects like Fetch AI and Singularity Net, which focus on agent frameworks and AI marketplaces. AVM can actually complement these ecosystems. Maybe there's a partnership here, just saying, unless they're already partnered. For instance, agents built on Fetch AI or Singularity Net could use AVM to execute their code securely at scale. To use a metaphor here, if Ethereum is the world's computer for smart contracts, AVM wants to be the world's computer for AI agents. It's a new lane, it's a whole new lane that isn't directly filled by any other incumbent yet. It's carving out its own section in the crypto space and in the world for that matter. So how big could this get? What is the market opportunity here? The market for cloud-based AI compute is actually massive. and growing every year. According to a recent IDC report, that's the International Data Corporation, one of the world's leading firms for tech industry analysis and market research, the global AI infrastructure market could top $100 billion annually by 2027. That's in less than 2 years from now, with cloud and edge compute leading the way. That's not even counting all the smaller agent-specific markets, from automation tools to on-chain analytics to IoT. If AVM succeeds in becoming the go-to compute backbone for AI agents, as it aspires to become, even capturing a tiny part of this market would be huge. But of course, nothing is guaranteed. This is a rapidly changing field, and there will be winners and there will be losers. But the agent economy is only getting started. And having a flexible decentralized execution layer is a need that almost every AI builder is thinking about right now. Now let's bring this all to life, because in addition to the clear use case we mentioned about trading, imagine this. You're a supply chain manager for a big company, and then suddenly there's a major problem. Natural disaster has hit and it's blocking some of your delivery trucks in the middle of the night. Normally, you'd have to wake up, check the news, call the drivers, and figure out how to reroute shipments yourself. But with AVM, you have AI agents that can take over this stressful job while you sleep. Here's how it works. The AI agent gets the urgent task to figure out the best way to deliver all your shipments. Even with the roads closed by the disaster, it starts gathering live information. Things like weather updates, which roads are closed, where your trucks are, and what inventory is on the way. Then it quickly calculates new routes, checks flight options for urgent packages, looks at available drivers, and finds the most efficient, cost-effective way to get everything delivered on time. Now, isn't that amazing? The future is certainly here, guys. And all of this happens inside your AVM secure environment. Remember the sandbox I was talking about? So private company data, like delivery plans, who it's going to, supplier contracts, never leaves your control. The AI agent can even send instructions to the drivers, update schedules, and prepare a report for you to approve, all before you even wake up. This is the kind of real-world problem AVM was designed to solve. And it's not just for supply chains or trading. In education, a university could use AVM to auto-grade programming assignments. Student code is run securely and feedback is returned instantly. In IoT, smart farm agents could process crop images and make irrigation decisions all through AVM. And for businesses, anything from order processing to customer service to data scraping can be automated with AI agents using AVM as the execution layer. The point is, anything an agent can code, AVM can execute. The use cases are as broad as your imagination. So let's recap what we learned in today's video. I know it was a lot, but hopefully you could understand it. AVM is aiming to build the global backbone for AI agents, a decentralized, secure, scalable compute layer that any developer, company, or builder can use. Remember, it's like the computer for AI agents. I know it's early and it's very ambitious of them, and their mission and roadmap is packed with both potential and risk. But the big takeaway, you are now way ahead of the curve in understanding how AI and crypto and the new agent economy are coming together and where the space is moving. However, the key is always to do your own research. Projects like AVM are evolving fast. So take your time, ask questions, join their community, read the documents, run it through ChatGPT or whatever AI model you're using to try to understand the meaning of it, and keep an eye open to how things unfold. Pay attention to their updates, partnership updates, and remember, we're here every day, Monday through Friday, bringing you both a macro analysis and breaking down the most promising projects and narratives leading this bull run, so you're never out of the loop. And if you learned something new today, I would just ask you leave your comments below or your questions below, and then just like the video. It's a simple thing, but it means literally the world to me, especially if you share it with a friend and then they watch it. Like, that is so invaluable to me. And then of course, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I love you guys very much. Have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys in my video tomorrow.